Hi, I'm Justin.
Also, I hate the way my voice sounds, so if you can do whatever Photoshop does to voices, make me sound awesome.
And this is my lovely friend,
The beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and it's just about getting into the seat of being the beholder.
Hayley.
I don't think you have to be particularly perceptive. I just think you have to look up.
This podcast is mostly just her telling me stories.
If you expose yourself to the possibility that this might be really awkward, there can be something just really cool on the other side of it.
She thinks that her life and way of looking at things are
Oh, I was kind of waiting on you. I thought you were getting your stuff ready. You're waiting on me?
pretty normal.
You got to edit out all the misinformation about the Amish.
Maybe you can relate.
I would like a chance to re-sing the Amish Paradise.
If you want lighthearted stories
All right, you want to talk about goats?
and stream of consciousness,
I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
then you're gonna like the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up.
So, if you're at all like me, you may feel that you're living in a world that can be a bit overwhelming and confusing at times. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts, documentaries, docudramas, stories, and of just information in general. Between all of that and the social media and news, sometimes our brains can feel like they're on overload. Hayley and I hope that this podcast can be something of an antidote to all of that. Like little jello shots of joy and distraction. None of it is too serious or really too informative. Mostly it's just two friends who have conversational chemistry talking about whatever enters the minds of relatively ADHD people. We hope you enjoy.
Yeah, so we have a lot of chickens, and some we are more attached to than others just because the same way that I said, Mom, do you have a favorite kid? And she said, some of you have more desirable qualities than others. And she didn't actually name drop, but
Yeah.
it gave me a good idea.
Yeah. Well, and since your dad left when you came around, you probably you're like, I'm probably the bottom of this list.
Yes. Of those four, at least.
Of those four, at least, yeah.
But yeah, with the chickens, there were a couple that I knew more personally than others, and Smog was particularly.
How intimate are these relationships
Well,
with the ladies?
well, some of them were chicks, and we would leave them inside in a little box next to Katie's bed until they had feathers and could sustain the temperatures outside.
Yeah.
Smog we bought as an almost mature adult. She was, 16 or 18 weeks, so not quite egg laying, but getting close to that. So I didn't anticipate that we would have a bond. But one morning I went outside and her head was kind of floppy and her wings were kind of droopy. Oh. And I was like, I don't know what is happening here, but I'm fixing to give you some vitamin E.
Wow.
And I just got a syringe and injected her with some stuff, not really knowing what would happen. Mm-hmm. And she got better.
Wow.
And she remembered it. And she remembered that I was kind to her when she was in a lowly state.
That's how we all are. You help us when we're down and you shoot some vitamin E in us. And we're like, by the way, what does vitamin E do for you?
I'm actually, now I'm second guessing. I think that's what's on the label. I'm not sure.
You just grabbed something and injected it where it happened to work.
Yeah,
and
I have
now
a couple
she thinks you're a hero.
Yes. So she became lots more affectionate. If we're sitting outside, and she'd go hop on Katie's shoulder sometimes, do the pirate thing, but with a chicken.
Oh, that's great.
She was a good pet.
Yeah.
So one day I'm at my desk doing my own thing, and I get a text message, and it is just a picture of a chicken in a parking lot at a DMV 3 counties away. Okay, so from time to time, Tim has to renew his commercial driver's license, and he's found a DMV in a distant county that has a really efficient staff. You're in and out. Yeah.
Don't name them because
it's an hour and a half drive away from our house, but it's worth it. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I went to the DMV to get one of the girls a driver's license, and we sat for 3 hours in a room that was standing room only with a woman reading out loud from the driver's license manual to educate the kid who's standing next to her, just wishing that he was anywhere but beside her. It is worth driving to this other place. Right. So that's where he was, and he just sends this picture of my chicken in that parking lot. He's like, is this our chicken? Oh my gosh. please, please, please get her.
What was her name?
Smog.
Smog. Oh, this is Smog. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like, the first couple of chickens that we had were all named after dragons.
Okay.
Yeah, Smog was a golden dragon, so she was one. Grindel's mother passed away, so.
Oh no.
And Caligon is still thriving.
Okay.
But I've almost exhausted my roster of dragon names, so we just had to kind of move on with like Sprinkles and Stevie Chicks and like they all.
I'm only
Henny
about
Penny, Cleo because she had met like the eye makeup like Cleopatra. Like they all have 9-10 because she's a big fat hen. But Smog was one of the OGs, right? She was the original, and so she's walking through this parking lot in the middle of this distant county, and I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna, because she's friendly, but she's not.
But she's also a chicken.
Yes, and his phone goes silent for a little while, which was disconcerting, and I'm trying to like get my work done, but also emotionally distant. I'm in this other. He finally gets back, and he just sends me a photo of him dragging this chicken back to, like, walking up to the DMV, and these ladies, like, laughing and everything. And he said,
he took Smog with him into the DMV.
Well, he was showing the ladies that there was actually a chicken because they had called the police because all they saw was a man walking around the edges of the parking lot with a stick poking at all the bushes. And so they thought he was like a tweaked out, bath salts or something. I don't know. They were concerned about him, and he was just trying. And he tells me this, and I'm like, "Why are you using a stick? She's a very gentle chicken. No wonder they call the law unreasonable." But he manages to get his hands on her, and he puts her in the driver's seat. He drives through KFC on the way home just to like keep her humble, but he gets her back. And I mean, you just got to really be careful. All it was, she was trying to lay an egg and had gone under his toolbox because it was a nice, dark, cozy spot.
In his pickup truck, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And I guess it wasn't a great idea on her end, as we did see, but in the truck bed was probably a better option than like in the undercarriage because I've seen a raccoon try that before, and I don't think he bargained for what he got.
Yeah. What? Well, first of all, before we move on to the raccoon and what he got,
he lived, for anybody who's listening. I don't want anybody to be distressed.
You have to leave a little. You have to leave them hanging.
Not that. Like, I don't hang around for heartbreak. But anyway, to your...
I like that.
We'll get to that. But
I don't hang
yours?
around for heartbreak. That's Hayley, I don't hang around for heartbreak. I mean, that's a tattoo. Right? Maybe not a tramp stamp. Maybe a tramp stamp. Oh, my God. It is a tramp stamp.
As I walk away.
Right. I ain't hanging around for heartbreak. I like this.
Can you copyright a...
You should. You'll make hundreds
like, how do I trademark my... If Taylor Swift can trademark phrases in her songs, then I can surely trademark what is certain to become tramp stamp craze.
And I'm trying to imagine the type of lady that's going... who your target audience is going to be.
I mean, what a generous use of the term lady. How nice of you.
Anyways, moving along. So I'm thinking about Smog in the gap between the toolbox, I'm guessing, and the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
Like, she stays under there for an hour. You said close to an hour and a half or over an hour?
Yeah, I mean.
To the DMV.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Uh-huh.
Right?
She was an impressive chicken.
I mean, was?
She died of natural causes recently.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So before we do the funeral and get emotional again, so she goes an hour and a half without flying out of the back of the pickup truck. That's amazing.
Yes, right.
And then he runs her down in a DMV parking lot in some place
and rescues her.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. On his part and hers, because he's like, you don't have to give me too much credit. I just knew that if I didn't catch it then when I got home, we were just going to have to drive an hour and a half back and catch her then. And at least...
He was just saving himself a lot of hassle.
So he says... But
he probably does have a little place in his heart.
Yeah, what category does that love language fall under? Rescuing a chicken from a parking lot because you know it matters to the ones around you.
The sense of humor to go through then go through KFC. I like that. That's a strong move. That's a power move.
Well, he was flexing on that chicken for sure. She had just made... They called the law on him.
That's true.
Other 18-wheelers were driving through the parking lot like CBing each other about this guy chasing a chicken on foot through the parking lot. So he knew it wasn't, that chicken deserved perhaps to be humbled somewhat, but she got to ride in the passenger seat on the way home to keep her safe. Yeah, so it was a good journey for her.
Yeah, I would imagine.
A field trip day.
Yeah, field trip day. And then where does the raccoon come in to all this?
Now, I'm not sure exactly what his story was. I just encountered him.
Was he a pet?
Doubt it.
Your pet?
No.
So he doesn't have a name.
I just pulled up to a truck stop, like a good pilot. Pilot is preferred by.
Do you hang out at truck stops
whenever possible?
Okay.
Not a lot, Lizard.
Okay. No.
But they just have like a lot of assortment.
Because you like Bucky.
Variety is the spice of life. If you like the snack section, I don't even want to eat that many snacks, but I love knowing that they're available.
That they're there. Yeah.
Yep. Pilot's probably my top tier, but I think I was at a Love's, right?
Okay.
It would help if they would all use different colors in their branding, but they're all
There's
yellow.
There's only a couple of good colors in branding.
Yellow and red.
It's like Quick Trip and Racetrack. They're both black and red. And you have to stare at the sign and really think about, am I at a racetrack or a Quick Trip? Because at a glance, they look the same. Do you guys have those in Mississippi?
I don't know about other people, but I frequently look around and have to say, like, where am I?
Yeah.
There is no, I don't know.
Okay.
Racetrack, does it? Yeah, it has the flags.
Nope, that's a different one.
Okay, so no, I don't think so.
That's that's race. That is Racetrack, but I think that's Racetrack with only a C. This is with a CK. It's easy. It's an understandable mistake. I'm going to forgive you on this one.
I don't think South Mississippi's not a booming mecca for the major truck stops because we don't have the heavily trafficked areas like your Atlanta situation where we are here.
Yeah.
When I go to visit my brothers, they have Dinoco, which I am a huge fan of remembering where your stuff came from. Like, thank you for this homage to our hydrocarbon origins. I think that's nice. They even put the dinosaur on the logo. Now, the dinosaurs may not appreciate it.
Well,
but it's nice to be memorialized.
It is, and their lobby is no good for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But you know what? Considering how recently we discovered dinosaur fossils, they have done well. Never mind, I take that back. I was going to say like they've left a large footprint, and no pun intended, because of all those fossils. But they are so widely loved and respected.
That's
they
true.
need no marketing.
That's fair. I take
fine.
it back. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, no, clearly there's a dinosaur lobby.
Don't need help. Yep.
Yeah, there's toys. There's whole museums dedicated to them.
I think there's some still living.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mariana Trench, like, we'll find them.
Right, and Bigfoot.
No.
You don't mix dinosaurs and Bigfoot? I'm just saying, if Bigfoot's around...
No. Woolly mammoth and Bigfoot, perhaps. But dinosaurs and Bigfoot,
I thought that woolly mammoth... Wait, woolly mammoths came after dinosaurs?
Yeah. Woolly mammoths were fairly recently.
Okay.
Like giant sloths and woolly mammoths. Like, there was a story recently about the set of footprints that are walking, and it's human footprints, and it's like a mother and a child, probably.
Okay.
And it crosses with giant sloth footprints, and I'm pretty sure mammoth footprints may have been found in the area, but they're at least the same era.
Can you imagine that, like, mother and her kid walking, and then there's like a giant sloth, and like how long you have to wait
for it to pass?
For it to cross.
Well,
like, you're just there waiting.
That's what was so much fun about these footprints, is because there was an element of drama. You could kind of interpret the story because they do cross. It was kind of fascinating.
Sloths are cool. Sloths, as our English friends call them.
But anything giant is scary.
No. Sloths are the most beautiful creatures ever.
Have you ever seen an angry sloth?
No, they don't ever get angry.
Dude, they're so temperamental. Yes.
Really?
Oh, and they will slow motion swipe with their sloth three toes.
The least scary
long
thing.
Claws, long.
Yeah, but they're so beautiful and gentle. I refuse to believe they even have the ability to temper tantrum.
Dude, there's YouTube videos of it.
Okay, and
there's
now I'll have to check this out.
There's like an angry sloth, and he's so annoyed, and he's like complaining, and he swipes with his arm, but again, slow motion.
In a completely non-terrifying way. Yeah, but
he's still angry.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe.
super angry. So if he was giant, it would be even scarier. And what if the giant ones were faster?
I mean, marginally faster, though. It's like turtles.
Like, how fast could... Oh, but
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
come
say
on.
turtles run.
Yeah, me too, but it's still not impressive. Like, you would never think, like, oh my gosh, the turtle's going to catch me. Anyway, so back to the raccoon. Where did you encounter the raccoon?
Yeah. So I think it was a Love's truck stop, and I just parked my car, and whenever I come out, there is a stunned raccoon, like, stumbling out from under the car that's parked next to me towards my car. And so first instinct's like, ooh, raccoon, phone, video.
Yeah.
And then the more I'm like, oh, he is not doing well. And he is stumbling. So rabies.
Could be a thing.
Yeah. But no, he was just tired because he'd been holding on for his life to the undercarriage of this SUV that
Oh my gosh.
I was leaving Atlanta. I was leaving this place.
Yeah.
And the family who came back out to their vehicles were like, oh, we saw a family of raccoons in the parking lot of our hotel, which I think might have been around Tuscaloosa or Birmingham.
Oh my gosh.
And so
this poor thing had made at least a 2-hour drive.
he had been holding on for a minute. Yeah.
So the moral of the story is you think you have a bad day. Hang in there.
Yeah.
Because there was... Hayley met the raccoon that hung in there for at least 2 hours on the interstate.
Yeah, and it was one of those full-service truck stops, so those guys had the PPE to, like, PPP.
Personal protection
equipment? Yeah, PPE to make sure that they were covered when they picked up this little raccoon, and they carried him off to the woods and set him on the side. And I was like, but all his family's in Birmingham. Just put him in the back of my car and I'll drop him off. I'm going that way. And they didn't
Those are two different kind of raccoons, like Birmingham raccoons v. Atlanta raccoons. Like, you got to be ready for that.
I just wanted to take him back to his family, and they're like, he'll be fine. We're not putting this in your car.
Yeah.
Under your car. So,
yeah.
Just if you're going to hitch a ride, just make sure that you do it in a comfortable enough location.
Yeah.
Like,
don't do it Smog or
let's
the
Roger
raccoon.
Miller this.
Yeah.
King of the road.
Hello, lovely friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And it would mean the world if you would tell other people about this podcast and maybe even spam your social media accounts with just how much you're enjoying it. If you are, of course. Also, commenting and rating us on whatever platform you're downloading or streaming from is incredibly helpful to a little startup podcast like this one. On the other hand, if you are dissatisfied with your listening experience, please leave all of that hate on someone else's podcast. Just maybe to confuse them a little bit, right? But most of all, we hope you keep looking up and looking for the sunny side of life.